This Dodgers offseason keeps getting crazier and crazier. I get into the latest signing that the Dodgers have just made and how that's going to impact the team in 2025. Hey, this is Mike Nelson. Make sure to subscribe to the channel. I want to thank the 30% of you, the ones who are watching these videos, who have already hit the sub button. But 69% of you have not subscribed yet. I'm not sure why. Myself and Brad J, we're bringing you everyday Dodger content. We're the best Dodger channel out there. You're not going to find content like this anywhere else on YouTube. So make sure to subscribe to this channel, this awesome channel. I'm not sure why you haven't yet. Make sure to like the video. Make sure to share this video to all your friends and family who like the Dodgers or just like baseball. Make sure to hit the subscribe button. Let's get right into it. Of course, the Dodgers have signed Eddie Rosario to a minor league contract. This just broke about a little over an hour ago. A veteran of 10 seasons, of course, in Major League Baseball. And now he will be coming to the Dodgers on a minor league deal. And, of course, Dodger fans know Rosario well, going back to that 2021 NLCS where Rosario had a 1.647 OPS over 28 plate appearances. And, of course, the Braves ended up winning that series and went on to win the World Series that year when they defeated the hated Houston Astros. And, the Dodgers are a stacked team. They're a team that, as we know, have done a lot in this offseason despite winning the World Series. That's what makes this, offseason super interesting as a Dodger fan, as a baseball fan, because, the Dodgers could have just said, you know what, we won the World Series. We're just going to roll out the same guys we had last year and go forward again. And that's not what they've done. They have gone out and changed things. They have signed players. And what they have also done is put pressure on the players that they have currently right now because they are signing new guys for sure. Like this article from MLBTradeRumors.com gets into, there's no risk for the Dodgers in taking, Rosario, 33-year-old player. Also, a note, Rosario was the MVP of the Caribbean Series for the Dominican Republic. They of course won the Caribbean Series just last week against Mexico in the final. That final was in Mexicali, and the Dominican Republic was able to win 1-0, and Rosario was a top player for them. So this guy, I think, showed in the Caribbean Series he might have something left in the tank. And like this article, gets into, it's going to be tough for him to get a spot on this roster. It doesn't look great on paper, right? Because the Dodgers are the best team in baseball, and they have a lot of outfielders already. But of course, that could change in an injury, or if he has a big spring training. If he has a very good spring training, then that's going to put pressure on the Dodgers to maybe make some room for him, right? I think this is going to be the key is going to be how he does, right, in spring training, right? I mean, if he has a slow spring training, a bad spring training, we will not be seeing Rosario with the Dodgers in 2025, right? So we're just going to have to wait and see how he plays. But if he does very well in the spring training, I don't know what you guys think, comment below, but does this put pressure on James Outman, right? I mean, would the Dodgers move on from James Outman and put Rosario on the roster, right? I mean, I think that's something that Dodger fans should think about, or even, Outman's going to have an important spring training as well. A lot of guys, as we know, every year in spring training are out there to prove themselves out, to prove that they can belong on a Major League Baseball roster, right? I think that's what every year it comes down to. For some players like Mookie Betts or Freddie Freeman, Shohei Ohtani, this is basically just practice time trying to get in tune for the regular season. They're obviously guaranteed a roster spot with the salaries they're making and the contracts they have signed. But for other guys, this is everything, right? And for Eddie Rosario, this is everything. The 2025 spring training is going to be maybe his last chance to get back into Major League Baseball, right? I mean, he was released last year by the Mets, was it July or August, and he was unable to get a spot on a Major League Baseball club after that. And of course, playing the Caribbean Series to try to showcase his skills, and he did, having a good Caribbean Series. So now he's got a shot with the Dodgers, right? Had he not done the Caribbean Series, I don't know if the Dodgers would have signed him, right, to this minor league deal, right? And that's kind of how it works in professional sports. You have to prove yourself again and again. And baseball, as we know, is very difficult. It's super competitive. These guys have short careers, a lot of them, right? And it's for good reason, right? Because there's a lot of good players in baseball, and there isn't enough spots for everybody. Despite having, think about it, in the old days, you had a lot less teams, and it was even harder to make it, right? Now we have 30 ball clubs, and it's still difficult, right? Which is kind of crazy to think how pre 1970, pre expansion years, pre 60s, there was even less ball clubs, right? And it was very difficult. So now, even with the expanded Major League Baseball, you have 30 teams. It's a big, world of professional baseball in the United States. It's still very hard, right? And Eddie Rosario is a player that is a proven, a Major League Baseball player, right? I mean, if you look at his stats, I mean, this guy had over 100 RBIs a few times in his career, going back to his days with the Twins, and then, of course, won a World Series with the Braves. He has definitely tailed off since that. I mean, it's been unfortunate for him. Since the 2021 World Series, we have not seen the same Rosario in Major League Baseball, right? He had a good Caribbean Series just a few weeks. But obviously the Caribbean Series is against players that are obviously not as good. The pitching is not as good as what you're going to see in the United States in Major League Baseball, right? It's not even close, right? A lot of errors in the Caribbean Series. I got a chance to watch a lot of it this year, and obviously the level of play is a lot less than what we see on a day-to-day basis in the National League or the American League. So, this is going to be a big challenge to see how he does now in the spring training, facing better pitching, more velocity. It's going to be a lot different, right? And it's not even the best. You're not really getting the best in spring training. This is not the best that you're going to see, even when the season starts. So he's going to obviously have to, up his game. He's going to have to show that he's a real deal, and if he wants a spot with the Dodgers. Personally, I gonna wait and see how Rosario does with the Dodgers in the spring training before I make my prediction on what's gonna happen with this. Because if he has a great spring training, I mean, come on, all bets are off. And the Dodgers have a couple guys right now that are on the outside looking in the outfield. Chris Taylor, James Outman. These guys have struggled, and one of them's being actively shopped right now. Like we said about Chris Taylor, actively being shopped by the Dodgers with no luck. Not a lot of interest around Major League Baseball right now for Chris Taylor. Think we're going to have to wait and see how he does too. And James Outman. James Outman is a player that has really taken a step back. And if James Outman was playing for, I don't know, the Arizona D-backs, or if he was playing for the Colorado Rockies, there would be no discussion of trading James Outman because he is a young player with a lot of upside potentially. But since he is on the Dodgers, a team that is contending once again to win the World Series, the Dodgers simply don't have room for those kind of players right now. They need players that are going to contribute right now, that are going to contribute in this upcoming season. And if Eddie Rosario can be that in the 2025 season, I don't see why the Dodgers wouldn't give him that chance, right? Giving him a contract. So we're going to have to wait and see how he does in spring training. That's all it's going to come down to. And then I'll give you my opinion here on the channel. As always, make sure to subscribe, and let's go Dodgers. Woo!